Alright folks, it's finally time to dive into the Bears' schedule breakdown for the 2025 season, and trust me, there's a lot to unpack here. Ever since the NFL dropped the official calendar, fans have been buzzing with questions, predictions, and of course a fair share of heated debates. One particular question caught my attention. Will the Bears Week 18 clash be a do-or-die situation? Will it all come down to that final game? Honestly, there's a very good chance it will, and that's no coincidence. For about a decade now, the league has been deliberately stacking those final week matchups with divisional showdowns. Why? Simple. They want that drama. They want the stakes high. They want fans glued to their screens as teams battle not just for playoff spots, but for bragging rights within their own divisions. It's a formula that works, and last year was a perfect example of that. Think back to how things played out in the NFC North. The division title wasn't the only thing up for grabs. The top seed in the entire conference was on the line. It was a nail-biter. The kind of game that gets flexed into Sunday Night Football, because it promises fireworks. And it delivered. Remember how the Lions went toe-to-toe with the Vikings in that final regular season clash? The winner walked away with a stunning record of 15 wins and just 2 losses, securing the division crown and the coveted #1 seed in the NFC. Meanwhile, the loser had to settle for the 5th spot despite having a stellar season. That's the kind of high-stakes football fans live for. That's the kind of energy we might see again this year when the Bears and Lions face off in Week 18. Will it be for 14 or 15 wins? Hard to say. But what's certain is that the outcome could very well decide who claims the NFC North and what the playoff seeding looks like. It might even come down to a wildcard spot hanging in the balance. Imagine a scenario where one team needs that win to punch their ticket to the postseason, while the other has nothing to lose, but everything to spoil. Nobody wants to be in that spoiler row, but the Bears have found themselves in that position more than a few times before. Hopefully this year, they're the ones with everything on the line fighting for their place rather than playing party crashers. This emphasis on divisional matchups in Week 18 isn't just a scheduling quirk. It's intentional. And the NFL knows that these games carry extra weight. It's personal. There's history. There's animosity. And when playoff implications are added to the mix, it becomes must-watch television. Every hit feels heavier, every yard harder to gain. So when the Bears square off against the Lions to close out the regular season, you better believe it's going to be intense. Now, shifting gears a bit, there's been another hot topic floating around, the role of Declan Doyle in the preseason. Specifically, whether Ben Johnson might hand over play-calling duties to him to give Doyle some experience as an offensive coordinator. It's an interesting thought, and we've seen other coaches do this in the past during preseason games. But if you're asking me, my gut tells me no, at least not this year. Here's the thing. This is Ben Johnson's first year as a head coach. He's got a lot on his plate, balancing the big picture responsibilities of running a team with the nitty-gritty of calling plays. Those preseason reps aren't just valuable for the players, they're critical for him too. This is his chance to get into the rhythm of managing the game flow while still being the offensive architect. Passing off that responsibility right away doesn't seem likely. Maybe down the line, once he's more established and comfortable in his role, that could change. Perhaps in future preseasons, we'll see someone like Doyle get a quarter or 2 to call plays, maybe the 4th quarter or the final preseason game. But for now, Johnson needs those reps as much as anyone. Managing play calling while overseeing the entire operation of a game is no small feat. It's a balancing act that even veteran coaches can struggle with. So expecting Johnson to delegate that in his very first year feels premature. It's about building his own foundation first. Once that's solid, then we can talk about grooming future coordinators with in-game experience. But let's circle back to what matters most. The NFC North. The big question on everyone's mind is simple. Who's going to come out on top this season? Is it going to be the Bears making a statement? Maybe you're betting on the Packers to reclaim their throne. Or perhaps you're riding the Lions hype train after their impressive campaign. And let's not forget about the Vikings, who've shown they can surprise people when it matters. Everyone's got an opinion, and now's the time to let them fly. Speaking of critical matchups, Which games on the Bears' schedule are absolute must-wins if they want to stay in the playoff hunt? It's always tricky to pinpoint these early in the season. Football is unpredictable. You can circle certain games as should win and still end up losing them, yet somehow the team claws its way into the postseason. But if we're looking at this schedule realistically, there are 4 games that stand out to me as essential. Road game against the Raiders and home games against the Saints, Giants, and Browns. Those are the winnable ones. If the Bears can handle business in those 4 matchups, they're in a strong position. Think about it this way. Win those 4 and go 6-7 in the rest of the games. And you're probably looking at a wild card spot, maybe even more if things break the right way. Every season has its surprises. Teams underperform, injuries happen. But stacking up those should-win games is how you give yourself a cushion. Of course, if you stumble in one of those, you've got to make up for it elsewhere, perhaps by upsetting a team you're not expected to beat. That's the grind of a 17-game season. Now, zooming in on specific player matchups, there's one in particular that I'm itching to see. Derrick Henry versus the Bears' run defense. Last year, the Bears struggled mightily against the run, especially after losing Andrew Billings to injury. If he returns fully healthy, that unit should be noticeably stronger. TJ Edwards has been a reliable presence, and there's hope that Tremaine Edmonds can inject some needed energy into that linebacker core. Plus, the addition of Grady Jarrett on the defensive line adds serious muscle. This showdown is going to be a true test of whether those off-season adjustments are paying off. Another player I'll be watching closely is Tyreek Stevenson. His matchup against the Commanders is going to be fascinating, not just physically, but mentally. The psychological aspect of these battles can't be overstated, especially for young defensive backs facing seasoned receivers. Stevenson's growth will be crucial for the Bears' secondary, and games like this are where players either sink or swim. The chess match between Ben Johnson and defensive minds like Brian Flores is also going to be one to watch. Johnson had the upper hand in their previous encounters, but now the dynamics have shifted. Johnson has the added pressure of being a head coach, managing the entire team, while Flores continues to focus solely on orchestrating his defense. These kinds of matchups are where strategies get tested and reputations are made. Let's not overlook the challenge the Bears' secondary will face against the Bengals' high-octane receiving core. That's going to be a real litmus test for how far this defense has come. Can they hold their own against one of the most explosive offenses in the league? That's the question, and we'll get our answers soon enough. With the schedule now public, the anticipation only builds from here. Training camps are right around the corner, and before we know it, we'll be knee-deep in preseason action, dissecting every play, every depth chart shuffle. It's an exciting time to be a fan, and the storylines are practically writing themselves. One thing that left a sour taste, though, was the placement of the Bears' bye week. It's early, way earlier than I'd like. Ideally, you want that breather to come somewhere around mid-season, giving players a chance to recover from the inevitable. Bumps and bruises. Having it too early might not offer the same strategic benefit. For me personally, though, it kind of works out. Got a wedding to attend that weekend, so no game to juggle with travel plans. But from a football perspective, yeah, not thrilled about it. Also saw some chatter online about the team's schedule release video being underwhelming. Folks felt it lacked energy, creativity, and maybe even the right choice of spotlighted personalities. Admittedly, I haven't seen it myself yet, but the feedback's been consistent. Hopefully this indicates a shift in priorities, focusing more on what matters on the field rather than social media optics. That's where the attention should be. And now, with all that said, more questions keep rolling in from fans. From roster battles to depth chart projections. And of course, endless speculation on breakout players. The excitement is palpable. People are ready for football, ready for answers. And believe me, so am I. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy, drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Detroit Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson made headlines this week with candid remarks regarding Chicago Bears rookie wide receiver Rome Odunze. Johnson, known for his sharp football intellect and measured commentary, didn't hold back. When asked about the Bears' promising first-round draft pick, in a post-practice media scrum, Johnson admitted he was shocked by the low technical level he observed in Odunze during recent film study and joint training sessions. I've seen a lot of college tape that impressed me, but once you put a guy up against NFL speed and schemes, you expect a baseline of technical readiness. With Odunze, I was honestly surprised at how raw he looked, Johnson said. Odunze, who was selected 9th overall in the 2025 NFL Draft, entered the league with high expectations following a standout career at the University of Washington. He was widely praised for his athleticism, catch radius, and production at the collegiate level. However, Johnson's comments suggest a more difficult transition than anticipated for the rookie wideout. His route running isn't as refined as I thought it would be. He struggles to separate against press coverage, and his timing with the quarterback seems off. That's not uncommon for young receivers, but given where he was drafted, you expect him to be further along, Johnson continued. While it's still early in Odunze's NFL journey, such direct critique from a respected coach raises questions about the Bears' development plan and Odunze's readiness to contribute immediately. Fans and analysts alike are now looking more closely at his preseason performances, searching for signs of improvement or cause for concern. The Bears have yet to publicly respond to Johnson's statements, but internally the team is likely emphasizing patience. Rookie struggles are common, and the learning curve from college to pro football is steep, especially for skill position players. Still, in a league that demands quick results, Odunze will need to elevate his technical game fast to silence critics and prove he can live up to the draft day hype. Ben Johnson's unexpected evaluation has added fuel to an already intense NFC North rivalry, and it sets the stage for high-stakes matchups between the Lions and Bears this season. All eyes will be on Odunze, not just for what he does, but how quickly he grows. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.